Thank you for the invitation. This coming to next talk. This is a very interesting topic which he presented before, especially for people. He asked question like very thin. We don't do cataplasties. What to do? That's a very fantastic technique. What you present. We will discuss it later when if there is a time for it. This coming to the customized cross linking. There are two systems basically. The Avogadro system is completely different. The Avogadro somehow it's a little different from the other cross linkers that you need to understand what machine you are using. If you are using Avogadro, your energy settings, everything is different from the other machines if you are using. Avogadro needs more energy. They are not able to explain why from the company. Their standard recommendation is 7.2 joules, not 5.4 joules. Transepithel, they recommend 10.2 joules. So the Avogadro system is, as Professor Rajesh Sinha explained before, you give the highest energy to the peakest area in the cornea. If the K is very peak and where is the cone is peakest peak and that particular area, the thinnest cornea receives the highest energy, then gradually the energy is reduced to the periphery. But that is a customized one. What I am going to talk is not Avogadro system, what we are going to use with the existing systems which we are having, all of us are having. Then why should we do customized cross-linking at all? For example, this patient, look at this patient. He had a 612 vision, correctable to 6.6. He was cross-linked and he is very good. Now the cornea became regular, 6.6 unaided, and this is 2010 August. 2012 August, after 2 years, the central area became flattened and further flattened 2012. And you see the progression from started with the first slide. He started with a pointer, please. No. Yeah. The first slide he started with a keratoconus, then he became normal. He is very happy patient. By 2 years, 3 years, then after another 2 years, it became flattened. Now his vision is 636. From 612, 66 to 636 over a period of 10 years. So this is the problem. If you do traditional full energy standard Dresden protocol, 60% of the patients are going to lose their vision over a period of 10, 15 years if you follow them. If they are good to start with. If they are bad corneas, doesn't matter. If they start with a good 612, 6.9 vision, they are going to land up like this if you do standardized protocol. And where you cross-link, especially corneas like this, very problematic. If you do a standard 8 millimeters Dresden protocol, the peripheral normal tissue cross-links better than the central tissue. It is obvious because it's a normal tissue. The cone becomes more and patient loses the best corrected vision or uncorrected vision. He will become more worse. And this particular patient, uh, we did a, I tell you later on, we did a cross-linking. The patient after some time, 2008, very fine, come back to the normal vision almost. Then this 2008, a little bit changes, still good vision. And 2010, and 2 years, the flattening started in the center, further centered, further flattening, and ultimately patient land up with now from 618, patient improved to 6.9, then now 660. So this is the problem with the standard cross. That's why we need to customize. If you're following your patient more than 10 years, you have to customize the period. Then what is the end point of cross-link? There's a big question. What is the end point of sufficient energy delivered to the cornea? You see a mild haze or no haze or very subtle haze. Now we settled with you should not see a haze like this on the first post-op day. If you are seeing this, reduce your energy in the machine, you just see a visible haze, that's all, not more than that. If you are getting more than this, reduce the energy. If you are doing this way, it's bad. Then there are different topographies. Read the topography. Different topographies are each keratoconus is different. Different countries it is different. Different geographic in the world is different. In India, we see mostly commonly inferior keratoconus, but sometimes it's more globus, and sometimes only one half is more prominent. The upper half is very minimal, and sometimes it's only lower half, upper half is very good. If you do a cross-linking central this area entire thing with the standard resident protocol, you flatten this area. Already is 35, 36K. You flatten it further to 33, 34. It becomes worse. The patient becomes worse. So this type of globus cornea, they do very well with the Dresden protocol, but then other ones. And this is another example where the most of the cone is there, but there is a cone in the above, but just not crossing the pupil area. Most of them is in the down. And this one completely inferior cone. There is not even pupil area is very good. Only the cone is started in the inferior layer. So these are some more examples. This is a very unusual case where the superior keratoconus, very, but they say it's very common in Africa. That's what I heard. And this is the one, funny. This patient reads 6'9". I tested 10 times him, coming every time, calling every. And you see the K, there is no K anywhere between 55, 45, 46. There is a central 54, peripheral 36, and he is reading. This is where you cross link it, and which portion he is looking and reading those fast. So these are the questions why we need to customize cross linking when you do it. So the total fluence is the energy, the duration of UV, what we can change in customizing. B2 concentration, duration of application, and area of UV exposure, and ultimate what he is telling us. This is the new entry. This is the new kid. Even we don't know how he behaves, so we don't know how to manipulate. We know about these four things how to manipulate. Regarding the B2 concentration, we tried from 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. The example I have shown you, the second example where the patient worsened and improved, that is B2. We used in that particular time 0.2% B2. So those, the flattening is very good. And further they flatten, they become worse. So we stopped 0.2, now came back to 0.1 concentration only, what is as in Dresden protocol. Now what we are altering is the fluence, total energy, and duration of energy, and duration of application, and UV exposure area. These four we are manipulating depending upon the case. For example, if the inferior cone is there, a little bit pupil is involved, we use a shield like that, cut from any thing. You can cut a glove paper or you can customize any paper, and stop UV exposure to the superior cornea which is already flat. And if the pupil is involved, you allow the pupil and a lower portion of the area. And this is how it looks like on the table. And this is another technique we are using. We are injecting directly B2 into the stroma. This is not commercially available. You cannot use it. You have to prepare yourself from injectable B2 which is available in Switzerland. You have to buy the ampoules, and you dilute it, and whatever concentration you want you can use it. We started with 0.2. Now its cross-link is more stronger, so we came to 0.1, and we are injecting around 0.1 ml. For example, if you got as a topographician only inferior cone, not pupil involving nothing, we are injecting the dye and doing cross-linking. Another what we are doing is thin corneas. The thin corneas, you inject the dye, that particular area, if it's a 300 microns, that becomes almost 600 microns. So you don't need to use any other the shields or energy adjustment. You can just cross-linking in the with the thin corneas by injecting B2 into the stroma. And again we shield it off. Those case again we apply the shield and do this. And this is a new one, as is telling oxygen. We just started experimenting to know exactly how oxygen works. This we started in the laboratory. Now we have to come. This is the oxygen sensor. It measures the oxygen every 0.1 seconds to 0.2 seconds. We can measure the oxygen levels in the cornea. Humans we didn't start. We started in eye bank eyes right now. We are measuring the oxygen, how it's dropping down drastically. Once you switches on, switches off, there is a time gap. It looks like we need to use a shutters to close and go, not switch off the light, to keep the oxygen and fast. That's what we are working on. And this one. The key points I want to tell you here is what we saw in our practice for the past 10 years is this is okay, Bunsen-Roscoe law, but the same energy, more the duration. For example, you apply cross-linking for same energy, you apply for 3 minutes, the effect is different from you apply for 30 minutes. So the effect is more if the duration is more. So depending on if you are doing a very early case, one eye is advanced, the other is very early, very good vision, you just go for short duration, 4 to 5 minutes. So you are just freezing the cornea, you don't want any flattening. Like in traditional cross-linking, we know that it's going to flatten. In this particular case, we don't want any flattening. Patient is already seeing 6'9", 6'12", very comfortable vision. We don't want any change, we just want to freeze it there, then use very short duration. 4 minutes, 3 minutes or 5 minutes, not more than that. Then best corrected visual acuity is very, very important. If your patient is reading 6.6, 6.9 with spectacles or unaided 6.9, those cases you try to under your job. So use for short duration, don't use for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. If you are having a machine which cannot deliver for short duration and only 30 minutes, reduce the total amount of energy. Don't use 5.4 joules, use somewhere around 4 or 3.8 joules. That's more than enough to freeze the cornea. Our aim is to freeze the cornea, not to flatten the cornea. So reduce the amount of energy in those cases. And read the topography. See the topography where there is a cone and just try to localize your cross-linking in that cone by various shapes. We are talking with few companies to make different shapes and shutters, off, circle, 1/3, 3/8, but they're saying 2 years they will give it. That looks like a more appropriate. And when you are in doubt, always do less. Always do less crosslink. Crosslinking, what I heard from a lot of talks is any method they use is crosslinking. 90% of the times it works. No, I have not seen any surgeon saying that my cornea has become worse in more than 5%, 6% of cases. All they say it's stabilized. So always try to do less than what you think you need more. And take care of comorbidities. This we found is very important, especially the PCOD and vitamin D deficiency and allergic conjunctivitis. This they itself control the disease process. So if you cross-link and do that, it will become almost double, and they become worse. I always like to say, I heard a lot of talks in international forum. We are trying to make a good shape of the cornea. Nobody is bothered. Patient is bothered. I am not bothered. Nobody is bothered with shape of the. It is a vision that is important. Patient is coming with visual disability. They say I made the cornea cone, centered the cone, made it more shape by PT, PRKs and all things. And ultimately vision, if you look at the study, it is dropped than pre-operative vision. That's bad, I feel. So always take visual acuity into criteria when you cross-link, not to bring more shape to the cornea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. And it was really nice to see the way you customize, you use a part of drapes, and these things are subtle modifications, how to get the best outcome. That was really very innovative. Yeah.